she loves helping the people. Without further ado, I give you none other than six-star director, Coach JP Watkins Muse.
Thank you. Give it up for Robin today, y'all. Give it up for Director Robin. This young lady is my solid rock. This young lady is full-time in the industry of network marketing. She was able to retire herself early and fire her boss from being a full-time financial aid director. And she is a one-star director in this opportunity with a team fastly approaching 200 strong. Are you already at 200? Let me correct myself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this young lady's approaching 3. She's on her way to 300. But she's a one-star director and team player of the year. Give it up for Miss Robin Sedell. Director Sedell, how does it feel to wake up every day and do you? For the individuals who desire, they're on today. How does it feel to do you every day?
Coach, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing that I had the opportunity, as you said, to do what I want to do. I remember when I first stepped away from the university, we had a Planet Marketing event and my flight was canceled. I didn't have to call anybody to alert them. Oh, I won't be in until a day later. So that was really the first time that it really hit me that I owned my own time. So it's definitely amazing. Back to you.
Well, is the chat open, Director Sedell? How many of you
Yes, ma'am.
Desire, full-time in the industry of network marketing? I want you guys to put in the chat, I do. How many of you desire? And Director Sedell, help me with shutting down the mutes so that people coming in, if they're not aware that they're unmuted, we can go ahead and shut that down. But for those of you who don't know, I've been in the industry of network marketing now 17 years. And I remember being introduced to this industry in 2009, and I thought, I remember this guy standing in front of the room. He was making about 6 figures, 10,000 a month. He said, we're at the movie in the middle of the day and nobody's there. We're at the mall in the middle of the day. That's how old it's been. People were at the mall. The mall, everybody's shopping on Amazon now, right? And I remember him saying that, we're at the grocery store and there's no traffic when we're out. Those were things that resonated with me. I hate traffic. I want to own my time, right? All those things really resonated with me. And I remember thinking, how amazing would that be? And not compromise the money that I make, because there's time freedom, which is super important. How many of you want time freedom, right? Give me some hearts if you want time freedom. Time freedom is cool to be able to own your time, but also money freedom. If money were no object, put in the chat for me, what would that change for you? If you had the money you needed, what are some things you need your money for? I want you to start vocalizing that to you. Some people, Director Sedell, apologize for wanting more. They feel guilty about wanting more. Guys, money can solve a lot of problems. Let me tell you. If you have money, you can travel like Bob and Eileen. Okay, they're on a cruise ship. I think they live on a cruise ship. I think their actual residencies on the cruise ship. But they just have that freedom, time and money freedom. What about if you are in a situation where your children don't have the things they need? You don't have the things you need. Can money help you with that? If you're in a toxic work environment like I was, where I felt anxiety, remember how you felt anxiety because your work environment got toxic, Director Sedell? So how many of you know money can fix toxic relationships? If your neighborhood's not so safe, it's not so good. What about the car you drive? You need a new car. It's not the best car. It's not the best. How many of you want to retire your spouse? You want to retire your parents. You want to make sure your parents, the nursing home is your house. What about you getting older? Not only are your parents aging, you're aging. What about, insurances? Some of us are not just driving dirty, we're living dirty. We ain't got no life insurance, we ain't got no car insurance, we ain't got no medical insurance. Why? Because all of that costs money. And so we want to take away the financial, strengths. We want to take away time constraints. We want you guys to know when you are full-time, or at least making full-time money, the doors open up, and especially in the travel industry. The travel industry is one of the best industries to really bank on. It's one of the best industries to bet on. Why? There's never going to be a shortage of people. When you are a full-time network marketer, it's not that you've mastered juices, lotions, potions, or girdles, or vitamins or shakes. Whatever it is that you do, you really master people. So some people will identify themselves as travel agents, but we're really networkers. We're networking, big groups of people. And there's going to be a lot of people always on Expedia, Travelocity, cheap tickets, Orbitz, hotels. It's always going to be millions of people who book their own travel. That's never going to change. Never, ever. There are going to be millions of people all over the world booking their own travel. Now, should they get a check? Yes or no? Put that in the chat. Should they get paid for what they're doing? Anyway, so in our industry, it just really makes sense to be in this business because we know that there's never a shortage of people. There's never a shortage of people who love to travel. But how do you monetize that? That's where you got to get your skills up. And I want you to put in your notes, I got to get my skills up as a network marketer. I got to get my skills up as a leader. I got to get my skills up. And part of you going full time and getting your skills up is check your belief meter. Check your belief meter. Don't let anybody tell you the industry of network marketing is not legitimate. When people use the word pyramid, they're not educated. They don't even know what that is. When they say, is it a pyramid? They can't even tell you what it is. When you say, well, tell me, what is your definition of a pyramid? They don't know what you're doing. No, what I'm doing is very legal. How many of you know Mary Kay, Amway, Tupperware, Avon has been around before some of you were born? And they're not going anywhere. These are home-based businesses. Come on, put it in your notes. Home-based business, the industry of home-based business is very legitimate. And helping people grow a network of home-based business owners is very legal. Very, very legal. So we gotta, let me see. We gotta really be educated and not let somebody punk you out of your promise, telling you what's not gonna work, telling you what you can't do. How do they know what you can do? Just because they can't do it means you can't do it? No, there are a lot of people who told me that I couldn't do this. There were a lot of people who said that won't work. My cousins did that. Let me ask you, what is your cousin's work ethic? What is your cousin's ability to stay focused? What is your cousin's ability to move a group of people, to inspire and to educate? What is your cousin's ability to show up, to go up? What is your cousin's ability to stick and stay, to have they pay? I'm nothing like your cousin. I have nothing in common with your cousin. And I had to realize that. My uncle did this, my sister. I have nothing in common with those people. So why would you put me in a category that doesn't work? No, there are people who are employee minded, and that's all they can believe for is, I'm going to work for this job, and there's nothing wrong with that. I need people to show up when I'm ready to buy something. They need to work there. Wherever they're working, work there. But that doesn't mean I can't own my own home-based business and be hugely successful. I do have work ethic. I do have focus. I do have coachability. I do these qualities that you need. I have them. How many of you do too? Somebody put in the chat, I do too. So why let people compare you to people without success principles or success-minded habits? If we have those habits, we can be the 1%, y'all. Because there's a difference between the jungle and the zoo. I've done a training. Who's heard my jungle and zoo training? Our primary goal in network marketing is to build a network. I remember losing my job in 2014. And in 1 year I was broke. Mr. Bradley said, your biggest issue is, Ms. Watkins, you haven't learned to make money and not be present. I have a question for some of you plugged in today. If you stop, does your money stop? And if the answer is yes, you got to change that. You got to learn to make money and not be present. How do you do that? Building teams, building networks. And our primary job is marketing and recruiting. And I venture to say most successful companies, their primary focus is to grow so that there's profit. So that there's profit. In this business, because of our relationship with IntelliTravel, would you agree it's profitable? We've now booked how much travel for IntelliTravel? How much travel have we now booked as a group in our working with IntelliTravel? How much travel? Who knows the answer to that? Because you need to be able to quote this stuff. Good, Mary, good Robin, good Shannon. We love you, Shannon. Chanel, good. Oh, Brent, what's up, girl? All right, y'all. So yeah, I mean, you got to stand on 10 toes and say, we booked 6.5 billion in travel bookings. Is that profitable to you? What can you say about that? Right? That's jungle talk. When you tell people we've now paid out over 400 million in commissions on Just Planet marketing, that's jungle talk. When you don't have white spaces, what does it mean, no white spaces? That means that on your calendar that you all have as entrepreneurs, that means you have purchased a 8x10 at a glance. Network marketers do not work their business and their calendar is on their cell phone. That's not what network marketers do. They have a visual that they can manipulate on paper as well as online tools as well. You can have Calendly, you can have whatever spreadsheet, but you need something to glance at. You need something you can put on your, and you can, make it big, make it work. You need a whiteboard. You need tools. How are you tracking your leads? You're a recruiter, 1. You're a teacher, 2. In the jungle, what do you think their one job is every day? What is their biggest job every day? In the jungle, what do you think that the animals in the jungle, right, Mary, to eat, right? Their one focus is every day to survive, to eat. Y'all are awake today. That's their one job. Now you see jungle animals, some of them, they frolic and play. Some of them are mating. Some of them are raising their kids. All that's happening. But their main focus is to eat. They don't have a buffet saying, lions, it's time. No, they do that in the zoo. They feed zoo animals every day. They say, here's your food. They throw it at them. They place it, whatever. In the jungle, there's nobody feeding. So you have to be in this arena of network marketing. Nobody is handing you a check. You and your team have to figure out how to monetize this. Now you can say, I'll book travel. Great. But that still means you have to be involved at all times. The point of the jungle is building a network that you move from being super involved to, I build a network that I am the teacher. I am the master teacher. Don't get to teaching too early. I was talking to Jamie Torres about this the other day. I said, we got to go wide so we have someone to teach. If you have 6 people, 9 people, if you're a goal builder, it is not teacher time. If you are a goal builder, what is your main focus? If you got 10 people, what is your major focus if you frontline 10 people? What is your thank you, Lakenda. It's to go 2020. It's not training them. No, that is not. Now, there are different teams on today. There are different ways people teach you. Please you don't have to follow what I say, because there are different teachers. If you think 10 people, your major focus is to train them, you are going, listen, you and your team going to starve. Because in the jungle, once we eat, we gotta get ready tomorrow. Okay, y'all enjoyed that antelope? Y'all enjoyed that zebra? Great. But we gotta keep that. You can't refrigerate in the jungle. You can't refrigerate that zebra. In the jungle, the hyenas are coming for your food. And there's other people trying to steal your meal. So you got to get ready the next day to hunt. And in this business, we stop hunting. We get 10 people, we get a team of 50, we get a team of 100, we stop hunting. We want to teach all day long. We stop hunting. We ain't hunting. We're not in the game. We're not in the hunt. We want to sit back. Y'all do it. Y'all do it. Y'all do it. I'm going to sit back here and I'm going to, that's not jungle mindset of a network marketer. A network marketer is leading from the front. You are recruiting. You are presenting. If you're not the one recruiting, at least you're helping your team recruit every single day. Somebody put in the chat every day. And if your team's not recruiting, it is not conference calls, motivational speeches. How do I get this team going? No. Can anybody imagine in the jungle, you're sitting by and saying to this lion, you should probably hunt with us? No. The lion's like, if you don't want to hunt with us, you ain't going to eat with us. And listen, do you? But they're not dragging each other. In this industry of network marketing, I want you to put in your notes, run with the runners. And if you see somebody running that's not plugged in and they're on your team, grab them and say, I see you running. And grab them and work with them because you see them in motion, right? I've seen people on my team go bronze, silver, and gold director with no coaching. And I love it because that means they're self-starters. I said, man, if they did that without mentorship and coaching, what would happen if they had a coach and a mentor? But they're in motion. You control the narrative. You control the narrative. In the jungle, you control whether you get a check every week. It's not your team. You can control that, right? People that are Century Club, like Brandy Holmes Dennison, people who are Century Club, like Sheila Foster, people who are Century Club, right, like Dr. Kelly. There's some people that have frontline 100 people. So going one-star director is something you can make a decision to do all by yourself. So stop thinking that your team is holding you back. No, you are holding you back. It's not your team. In the jungle, you can be the king or the queen of the jungle. You can be your own king and queen. You got to be aggressive. Nobody's cutting you a check. You can't report your team to HR. Hey, they're not working. There's no write-ups in the jungle. We're not writing up your team because they're not working. You can't tattletale on them. You can't come to me and say anything. So go wide, then go deep. You're first what? A recruiter, and second, a teacher. That's what it is if you want to go full-time in network marketing. But be willing to sacrifice time and money. How many of you are convention ready? Where are my people that are convention ready? Yes, 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 yes. People who understand, I got to get good at what I'm doing. Show up to weekly meetings. I don't only have to get good at what I'm doing. I got to make sure my team get good at what they're doing. And if somebody is not plugged into Zooms, if they're not plugged into meetings, if they're not plugged into convention, how do they get good at what they're doing? How do they get good? How do you get good at what you're doing? Somebody put in the chat, how do you get good at what you're doing? All right, Vonsil, I see you. How do you get good? Show up. Thank you, Harold, Director Harold Everett. Showing up. That's how you get good. Little eaglets get big eaglets because the eagle is teaching that eaglet how to fly, hunt, and survive. The eagle does not let the eaglets who are too big stay in the nest. What happens is when an eagle is too big, what do the eagles do to the eaglets to get them out of the nest? Who knows the answer to that question? What do? Kick them out. That's right. That's good. Push them out. Y'all gangster. Push them out. But why, as a leader, do we think that we're not teaching our kids enough? When you have a team to teach, Here's what I do. You do travel, I do comp. If I tell you to do travel and I do compensation, now I'm teaching you how to eat. If I teach you travel training, I mean, we got ambassadors. I thank my ambassadors. Karen Mahomes is on today. I'm a wife that is on today. If you're teaching travel training, you are teaching people to eat as well. I don't want to diminish that or discount. You are teaching people. So that's a good thing. But if you want to make money and build a network, then it's how you teach me is let's do it together. You do the travel party with me. You do a Zoom with me. Guys, showing people stuff in the back office all day or answering questions all day doesn't make you a great teacher. It makes you customer service. How many of you know customer service agents don't get paid what master teachers are paid? Does that make sense to anyone? If you're a master teacher and you're a networker that makes six figures, that means when Mr. Bradley recruited me, he flew from Atlanta to Dallas. He said, put me in front of your people. So I want you to put in your notes, leverage me, leverage me, leverage me, right? Leverage is put me in front of your people. Why? I know what I'm talking about. I'm stronger. We're going to hunt together. If you see baby cubs, they're watching their mama hunt. If you see baby any species, they're watching mom and dad what? Hunt. They're not sitting there answering questions to the little cubs. They're actually showing them. When you see leaders like Brandy Holmes Dennison, who does a travel party every weekend, 3, 4, 5 Zooms a week, 3, 4, 5 travel parties a week, her team should be watching her hustle and taking notes. That's what you do as a leader. Sacrifice your time and money. If you get a $500 director bonus, how much of that $500 goes back into the education of your team and yourself? Do you take $40 to pay for a monthly pass in your city of the 500? Do you take $100 out of that to possibly do a team motivational contest? Do you take $50 of that to take somebody on your team to lunch so that you guys do a one-on-one about goals? Do you take $200 of that to fly to go support someone's travel party or event? So when you get a 2-star bonus, you got $1,000, 3-star. So you got to take part of my business. Let me tell you guys, out of $16,000 that I get on the first, 10,000 of it goes to run my business. And I know that somebody grabbed their pearls. Somebody gasped. Out of the 16,000 director bonus, 10,000 of it, I can account for 10,000 that it takes to run my business that goes back into the business. Let's see here. Thank you, Robin. So how much of your money goes back into the team to run the team, to invest in your education and their education? What you focus on expands. You've got to learn, you got to feed what's feeding you. How many of you are reading the books? Do you invest in all the books? How many of you don't miss an IMB? See, here's what, when you become a master builder, a master networker, a person that can generate 6 figures, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 60,000, 100,000, 800,000 a month. There's a guy in my network that I associate with. He makes $800,000 a month in the industry of network marketing. How do you do that? You get good at what you do. And here's what you do. When you make enough sacrifices to get good at what you do, the money will find you. Put that in your notes. If you get good at what you do, the money will find you. Right? If you make enough sacrifices, if you make that kind of, if you sacrifice a little in the beginning, time. Some people don't want to miss baby showers, barbecues. If you talk to some people, they always busy. They got something going on. Today, we're on a Zoom with almost 500 people who found time in their schedule to be educated. Nobody but begged y'all to be here. You had enough jungle in you to say, I need to be on here listening. And I'm not listening to no playback. I'm going to be on here taking notes.
Hello?
I'm going to be on here focusing. That's a good thing, right? So I want you guys to understand, nobody's going to, don't say my upline didn't tell me. I told my son the other day, he just started school. I said, your teacher told you to do this. Well, I didn't know. This year, son, we ain't gonna talk about I didn't know. This year, that's not gonna be an excuse you can use. You may be able to do that in your freshman year. You're a sophomore. It's not okay not to know. How many of you know it's not okay not to know? If it's in your virtual back office, I assume you should know. If it's been on one of your team chats, I assume you paying attention, you should know. How many of you know it's not okay not to know? That's not an excuse. If we all have access to information. And I said, check in with your teachers. Check in and say, hey, is there anything I'm missing? Is it something I'm missing? I just want to stay on top of it. That's what you do. Check, hey, is there anything I missed? Be watching. I have a director on my team, Director Rhonda Coleman. She doesn't miss anything. She doesn't miss anything. She's always paying attention. And I know if something dropped, she sees it. That's somebody paying attention to their money, right? Focus on whatever you focus on. How many of you know that people who do professional ice skating focus on ice skating? Professional fishers, these people watch fishing shows all day long. My husband is a master smoker. And I'm not talking about cigarettes. He smokes meat. And he's really good at it. He watched barbecue shows all day long. Or either on being a funeral director, because that's his other profession. Those are the things how many of you know that what you focus on as network marketers, what do we focus on? Things that help us grow in this business. I'm listening to anything on entrepreneurship. Jim Rohn, Earl Nightingale, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, Brian Tracy. Who are you listening to all day? I have a question. Who's your favorite personal development coach? Who's your favorite coach? Who's your favorite personal development coach? Who do you love listening to? Jim Rohn, me too. John Maxwell, that's top tier. Tony Robbins, great. Lisa Daniels, Lisa Nichols. Myron Golden, love him, love Myron. Eric Worre, top tier, right? Donald Bradley, absolutely. Anybody like Tim Grover? Winning, relentless. So pick some people. How many of you have gone back to the 1930s and started studying Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret or the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? Like, start with the old school stuff and then work your way to the new school stuff. Okay, start with the old school and work to the new school. But you need to have some foundational, fundamental things. And we're talking about 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, first year in network marketing, GoPro, right? You got to know 10 distinctions of millionaires and middle class. And if your team hasn't read these books and you haven't read these books, let me ask you a question. Do you really have a fighting chance? I have a question. Somebody can answer that. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you, Joyce. If you haven't read the fundamental books of how to build the business and network marketing, do you really have if you're not showing up to go up, how do you have and then you ask questions like, how do I get me and my team going? Y'all don't know what y'all doing. Nobody's showing up. Nobody's investing in reading and shifting their mind to shift their money. So me and my core leadership group are always present. If I'm going to hunt and we're going to be in a fight, if I'm a military veteran like Greg Fulton or Ronald Mahomes, if we're my military men and women, thank you for your service. My father was a veteran. Thank you, Monica, for your service. And if we're on the battlefield together, thank you, Robert. If I look to the right and we on the battlefield and you playing, our lives are at stake. I'm gonna be like, You should be paying attention to this fight. We in a fight. Has anybody ever been in a fight or somebody bullied you in school, but you had a big sister or a big brother, and you had a best friend, and you're like, you walk a little different. You like, my best friend's right here, my sister. And this fight, listen, they ain't gonna let me, I'm not by myself. How many of you know it feels good that your core group is with you? You need one person who does it like you do, who's just as committed as you. If you're going to go full time, here's what I say to people. You need three who rocking with you. If you're really going to go full time and make some money in the end, you need 3 to serious. Minimally 3 that their schedule looks like a full-time network marketer. You need 3 people that are plugged in like you. If you go to the meeting in Atlanta, them 3 are with you. You 3 don't have white spaces on the calendar. You 3 show up suited and booted and looking like professionals. You got 3 people that are focused, that are hunting, one to your right, one to your left, and you. That's how you go full time. If you don't have 3 people that sold out on their goals with you, you got to keep searching. You need 3 people. You ain't got to beg, drag, motivate, pump up. You should have them 3 people should be trying to run around you. They should be trying to run around you. Sheila Foster tries to run around me. She tries to run all the way around me. Lindsay Mohall tries to run around me. They try to run all the way around me. They're not waiting on me. They got their own thing going on. One of the things that I understand in network marketing is I'm looking for talent. How many of you are looking for talent and you're not trying to be in what's called the management trap? Don't get stuck there. Look for talent. Look for people who want the Super Bowl ring with you. They want one. They want a blue one. They want a red one. They want a white one. They want a double diamond. How many of you want some rings like Tom Brady? Tom Brady has all the rings, right? LeBron James, who wants some rings? Like you and your team got rings, 6 figures, $250,000, $500,000, million, and then multiple millions. So that's what you're looking for is the people who you don't have to ... You don't have to ... They're doing it with you. And if you don't have those people, then don't settle. Put in the chat for me, don't settle. Don't settle. They are out there. I promise you everything that they are out. Do not settle. Don't say to yourself, these are the only people that I have to choose from. So I have to have multiple motivational calls every week. I'm making groups with these people that's not MTGing, nor are they moving. I'm doing constant training, constant pumping up. And then how many of you know when you are in a group that you're literally dragging, they're depleting your energy and they're not fueling your energy? Has anybody ever felt mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted in the industry of network marketing, dragging folks, right, Fallon? And the reason that we feel exhausted is because we haven't learned to run with the runners. I'm not dragging anybody because I've learned through the years to run with who? Right? George and Fred Sheila, y'all runners. Y'all are runners. Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Thank you, Regina. So if I desire to run, but has anybody ever tried to pick up heavy weight, like somebody fell out and fainted and you tried to pick them up? Or if your baby got too big, you tried to pick them up. Has anybody ever tried to move a person? Like physically move somebody who was over, let's just say 100 pounds. Dr. Lydia says, yeah, it's like dead weight. And so that physically will exhaust you to try to move, right? A dead body or even somebody that's not cognizant. In your business, it is the same mental, weight on you to try to move a group of people that are not running with you. If you guys go review a movie called Forrest Gump, has anybody ever seen that movie? He went running, right, Diana? And nobody knew why. Did Forrest recruit any of the runners that ran with him in the movie? Did he? No? Okay, y'all know I'm asking a trick question, Grace. Forrest just started running, and then all of a sudden, people were like inspired by him running, and they started what, Bob? Running too. He did not recruit one of them, Stacy. He did not say, you guys should run with me because I'm going to run because I'm upset because I lost my mom. He was upset. He was upset. He was frustrated. He was sad. He was mad. And in this, when I went full-time in network marketing, I was mad. I was mad at being fired. I was mad at losing everything. I was mad I was in my mom's house. I was angry that my car was repoed. I was mad that I had nothing in the bank. Is anybody mad enough to do something? Is anybody angry enough to channel that frustration into, I need to do something different? Is anybody mad enough? Because that's what you got to really tap into, is that Forrest Gump, I'm going to run and I'm going to look around and see who's running with me. And if you don't want to run with me, it's not that I'm leaving you. You left yourself. You left me. So some people that y'all are concerned that they're going to say, you left me. They already left themselves because they're not running. When I say who wants to work, raise your hand and I'll be this afternoon. I'm on my way. I have this Zoom. After this Zoom, I have another Zoom. And then after that, I got a travel party. And then tomorrow, guess what? I'm going to church. And then after that, what I'm doing, a travel party. I am going to stay busy. And anybody in Houston, Texas that don't want to do that, if anybody anywhere in my team that don't want to, they are free to do that. They are free to do it. But guess what? I won't be a part of it because I am not anybody's supervisor. How many of you know you are not the supervisor, you are not the boss, and you definitely are not the savior? I say, Lord, these are your sheep. These not my sheep. Lord, these your sheep. You said you were the shepherd. Shepherd. How many of you know, put that in your shepherd stick? I know I'm coming down your street today. I know I'm coming down your street. But y'all got to let that go and run with the runners. So really look for the all-in people. Look for the people that burn the ships. How many of you have ever heard the story of Burn the Ships? It's in Think and Grow Rich. And it was the Spanish conquistador who they got off the ship to wage war. And they were on the beaches. Can you imagine an army on the beach? And they got off the ship. And everybody is getting ready for war. And the Spanish conquistador said, we either win or we die. Those are your two choices. Can you imagine in this business that your two choices are you go director or you die? Like you get six figures, or I'd be like, wow, some of us don't. That's a little extreme. The man said, burn the ships because we're not going home. That's the story. That's the story. So in network marketing, do you have the mentality that's like, I got to make this work? Successful entrepreneurs are all in people. It doesn't matter what the business is that they are in. It doesn't matter what they're selling. They are all in on themselves. They are all in on what they're doing. They are getting their skills up, whether they are restaurateurs, whether they are chefs, whether they are barbers, whether they are beauty professionals, whether they are MUA and makeup artists, whatever it is that people who make money, the measure of business is what? How do you measure whether or not something is working? What is the measure of business? How do you know if something is working? What is that? Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Soto. It's a profit. Is it making money, Charmaine Denise? Right. That's how you know. Receipts. I love that. How do you know? So if somebody says that they're a master at this or that, or they're making a lot of money, is the business, it's the measure for profit. So there's an intense focus for people who are at the top of their game. LeBron James is a billionaire as a basketball player. How many of you know that there are basketball players? Let's mute Sharon. Okay. There are basketball players that make $500,000 in the league. There are basketball players that make $1 million. And then you got basketball players that make $1 billion. What's the difference between this network marketer and that network marketer? What's the difference between this basketball player and that basketball player? What's the difference between this doctor and that doctor? What's the difference? How many of you know that there are some people that just graduated out of medical school, right? Dr. Soto, Dr. Kelly, and then there's specialists. There are brain specialists. There are neurologists and back specialists. There are people who, if you go to them, they're not recent graduates of medical school. They know what they're doing and they get paid top dollar to specialize in toes. They get top dollar to specialize in what they do. They get top dollar. Why? And I want you to put in your notes what they bring to the marketplace. What they bring to the marketplace. What does it mean, what they bring to the marketplace? Value. Value. Specialized knowledge means I know how to take somebody 0 to 100. I know how to take somebody 0 to 1,000. I know how to take someone from $0 to $10,000 a month. I know I've done it, and I've done it multiple times, and I know how to do it. That's why a person gets paid $500,000, $1 million. Rachel Lousy, $160,000 a month, because she has 25 frontline, and in the downline, I don't even know how many. That's why she's getting paid $160,000 a month. Is because I have that kind of knowledge. So here's what you got to do. Put in your notes. Create leaders. If you want to go full time and you want to make money, you have to be the blueprint. And then you have to, your copies. Who's gold behind you? How many golds are behind you? That's where you start. 2020, 3 to 4 gold builders. You should be 1 star. If not, repeat that formula, 40-40, 3 to 4 gold builders. You should be 1 star. Simple, right? 2 star. Can you get yourself 3 directors? If you get 3 people with 100, that's automatically 300, right? And if you get 3 directors, you probably are knocking at the door of a ring. Boom, 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 boom. Because you've learned how to teach people to go director. Now, how do you go further? Now you want to teach people to go 2, 3, 4 star. If you can do that, you're 5 star. Now, if you can teach multiple people how to go 3 and get rings, you're not going to have 6 star. You're a 6 star if you can produce 4 stars and help. You now help people go across the ocean, which is a whole different strategy. When you cross the ocean to 4 star, you have created leaders. When you get rings, you created leaders. When you cross the ocean, you created leaders. And who do you think is a really good resource to read if you want to focus on leadership and creating leaders? What's a really good personal development resource? Who can recommend? Thank you, Dr. Soto. That's exactly who I was thinking, Dr. Arlene. John C. Maxwell. Read everything on John C. Maxwell. Listen to videos on John C. Maxwell Mayola, because John C. Maxwell he will help you with specialized knowledge. And if you're building teams, you got to learn how to create leaders. You got to learn how to create leaders. All right, we're wrapping up with, don't try to navigate full-time on your own as a network marketer. Put in your notes, I need a coach. You need a coach. You need a coach that's helping you navigate full-time. Somebody who's full-time, not somebody who wants to be full-time. Somebody who's full-time making what? A profit. Some people are full-time, but they just unemployed. Okay. That's not what we're looking for. We're not looking for people that's just unemployed. That means they ain't making no real profit. How do you check that? How do you check in Planet Marketing? How do you check whether somebody is making, how do you check that in Planet Marketing? If somebody's making money, how do you check that? Thank you, Tiffany Aldridge. The top 500 list is on the list. It's public knowledge. It's on the list. Everybody can see the list, right, Cheryl Henderson? It's a list. So you know. And if somebody is a coach outside of where we work, then you need to ask for receipts. If somebody's saying, hey, I've built big teams in the industry of network marketing and I can help you, and then they want you to give them money to coach them, how are y'all checking those receipts is my question. Just because they say they're a coach? Just because they say, no, you don't have to do a PS3. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do this, that. You don't have to do none of that. What are your receipts, ma'am and sir? Because it's a lot of people who make money in network marketing, but it's more people that make money off of network marketers because they don't have the focus, the skill, or the wherewithal to really build. So I'm just going to poach y'all. I'm going to get y'all to pay me, and I'm going to act like I know what I'm doing. And then I'm going to just charge everybody because they can't build. If you're making $160,000 a month, like Rachel Algie, who is still building her business, or Linda Moore, who is making $100,000 a month in the hunt, why would you need to charge me? Why would you need to charge me if they making $100,000 a month just helping their team? No, you charging me because you really can't do it. Because if you could do it, you wouldn't be asking me for some money. No, stop looking to pay everybody to coach you and mentor you when you got people with receipts that you can talk to for free. And if you can't talk to them, find somebody that you can talk to in your upline. And here's the caveat. If they tell you to do something, execute it, and then come back for another play. Because if they're telling you what to do, you got to do that thing and then go back and get another play. Who's showing you how to do full-time activity? I remember when Kiana Gregory and I talked about her going full-time, she was in her 20s and then became corporate free at 33. And then now at 35, she matched her corporate salary, fired her boss at 33 as an engineer. And 30 days after she went full-time, they fired her whole department. They laid off her department. Guys, you need to go full-time just in case. Put in the chat, just in case. Just in case. This is not quit your job day. This is not go full-time prematurely. If you go in the jungle and you don't even know how to build a fire, you ain't got no knife, no spear, you ain't got no claws, you ain't a real animal. How long you gonna last in the jungle and you don't have no tools, you don't have no instructions. So don't go prematurely to the jungle. Work your job and keep jungle hours, 5 to 9. When you get off work, get serious about your part-time hustle. Get serious about your part-time hustle. Here's what most people don't do. If you don't work your business like a full-time job, you're going to stay on that job. And if you're not on a job, if you don't work this like a full-time, you're going to go back to that job. Those of you who are serious about 10,000, 20,000, how many of you know 10,000 a month as an adult is not freedom? Anybody know that? $10,000 a month used to be like something to brag on. Not with this inflation. 10,000 a month. If you say I make 6 figures, what level of that do you make? The bottom half or the top half? Because 6 figures could be $900,000 a month. I make 6 figures, but it's not the low part. It's the high part. So you need to check that. 10,000 a month is not a flex. Because by the time that get taxed, That's not freedom. So everybody needs a part-time hustle. Everybody needs a part-time business. Everybody should take this seriously. And then once you get good at it, you go full-time at $250,000. Latoya Mayberry made 6 figures by day, 6 figures by night. GS 14. I don't know what that means. I know it's important. I don't know nothing about it. But then when she made $250,000, she went full-time. Damian Goins is a full-time principal. He is making $250,000 he's making 6 figures by day, $250,000 by night, but knocking on the door of $500,000 part-time. He has not stopped teaching. He is still a principal. This is not quit your job day. But guess what he did do? He fired his wife's boss so that she could be free. And eventually he will decide. I think he's got 4 more years. He may stay the whole 4. But how many of you want options that you're not nervous about money? That's my question. How many of you don't want to worry about nothing? You don't want to worry about nothing. You got to get in beast mode. I'm going to close by saying, you got to get focused. You got to shut down. You got to black out, and you got to get in beast mode. Whoever is mad at you for not making sorority meeting, guess what? I don't care. People, Deltas be looking at me. What chapter you a part of? I am at large. Please leave me alone, and I'm not going to the sorority meeting. Don't ask me what chapter. I'm not. I'm at large. I will pay my dues, but I'm not going to meeting. Why? I got a meeting over here every Saturday in my business. I'm not coming to sorority meeting. I'm not free. I'm not going to this, that, turn up, Taco Tuesday, Sunday fun day. I'm not doing none of that. You got to really be willing to go in beast mode. You have to shut it down. You have to shut it down. Your calendar has to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And can I find other people that are that passionate with me? It's about the frequency. How often do you do it? When you're full-time, you do it often. There's a lot of lions out there hunting. They don't get the first zebra they pounce on. They don't get the first antelope they go after. They definitely don't get the first buffalo that they try to get. There's often times where the buffalo runs faster than them. The antelope is extremely fast. So there are times you're going after people. You're targeting people for your business. You believe in getting them. And guess what? You're going to get the no's. But if you have a ratio, you know you talk to 10, you get 1. You know you talk to 15, you get 1. You know you talk to 20, ding, 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 I always get 1. What is your ratio? Because you're not going to get 10 out of 10. You're not going to talk to 10 people and get 10 people. That's not happening in the jungle. There are times that you're going to not get the person. Do you let that make you sad? We didn't get the buffalo. Guys, come on. That immediately like, okay, we didn't get that buffalo. Is there another buffalo? Is there? No, we didn't get that buffalo. Let's get another one. Crying about the buffalo that got away. They immediately are focused on the buffalo they can get. And they're regrouping quickly. Regroup. Get it together. They're crying about the zebra that got away and calling the other lions. That zebra, I just need some counseling on that. We need to talk about this. No, they immediately gone on to the next zebra. So you got to do it a lot of times. Know your ratio. The more you expose, the more you close. It is a ratio. This is the jungle. You are full-time. Stop trying to figure out why people don't want to act right. Stop trying to figure out why people losing. They want to lose. They're going to always lose. Figure out who wants to win. Get with the winners. Crawlers, stay over there. Walkers, stay over there. I'm focused on the runners. Set the pace. It's your team. You're the leader. You create the momentum. And they got to keep up with who? You. I hope that was helpful today. I hope you guys understand. You want to be full-time. And you can do it. Stop, share, questions. Did you get something out of that today? Director Sadell, Any epiphanies, any eye openers, anything stand out to you about full time?
Like you said, you can be full time, but are you doing the work? Are you on the top 500 income earners list? If you're not on the top 500 income earner list, are you on the US income earners list and working your way to the overall list? Because I look at both. I want to see where I am on both of them.
On, raise your hand. Let's see, Danielle. Raise your hand. If you're a six-figure earner in the room, raise your hand so that I can see you. I see Danielle. I see Brandy. We're our six-figure earners. Thank you, Kenneth. We're talking about full-time money. We're talking about six figures. DDP, DTP, what's going on? 4-star. And she part-time. Tiffany, what's this, girl? You always be, when I talk about plugging in, you be plugged in.
Listen, we're doing back to school shopping, multitasking. I got to make the money in order to be able to spend the money for this little one. So, yes, ma'am.
What do you have to say about so you want to go full time? Sometimes we can go prematurely in the jungle. What I see you doing is six figures part time. You're about to be $250,000, and you're just you're working it smart.
Yeah. Yeah. And more importantly, showing other people, modeling what it looks like, because you can't get there by yourself, number one. And like you said, you got to have enough people running with you at the same pace you're running in order to be able to truly make that movement and that momentum. Everybody keeps asking, when are you going full time? When are you going full time? I don't have enough strong anything to be able to say, let me walk away. So until I can build enough people who are doing it at the same pace, then you just got to play your cards smart and play it right. So it's possible. It's absolutely very possible to be able to match what I make with the government in 2 years. It's possible, but everybody's not willing to do the work that it takes. And so a lot of people always say, I'm doing the work, until you see that you're really not doing the work. But you can do it if you really put your mind to it.
I love it. The way that you work the business with the amount of focus that it takes to work the business, you have options, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
It's options. $250,000 part-time ain't a bad deal.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Where did Danielle go? Did you raise your hand? Let's see. I was trying to hear from you, Danielle, as well.
Hey, Coach, I'm here. I didn't raise my hand, though.
Six figures. I just want you to touch on that. Was there some things that were epiphany to you today? Did you get a light bulb going off?
Yes. So when you talked about as a 3-star and as a 6-figure ring, where you have to have some leaders behind you. And once you have those leaders and you have created that bond, which are like, I see how you work with Kiana Gregory. I see how you work with Brandy. And so I know in order for me to get to 4-star, same thing with DTP. I see how she works with her directors. In order for me to get to my next level, it is going to require me to create some more leaders. And so that's what I've been working on the last couple of months, is creating the leaders, and not just creating leaders, but finding people who really want to be a leader. Because people will say it, but the actions have to match with what they're talking about. And so that's what I'm doing now in this season.
Let me ask you this. When I say we're recruiters first and teachers second, do you see people that are trying to teach first and recruit second?
Absolutely.
Like they're got it out of order. Chrissy Paul, I see you shaking your head like, we want to be teachers too soon. And we're marketers and recruiters in Planet, and that's what we do. But we're trying to recruit. We're trying to teach. And what happens is when somebody's in motion, you teach them. For example, the other day, Director Farmer, I was on a 3-way call with Sheila Foster, who is a beast. She's just a beast. Like if I look to my right and left, she's running. She's in motion. And so this lady, she had me on a 3-way call with. The lady, very, very professional, educated, wonderful prospect. She had vetted the person. We're on the 3-way call. And the lady said, well, I'll take a look at it. And so she hadn't looked at the video yet. Sheila said, you got 30 days money back guarantee. You don't got to look at that. You got 30 days to look at that. I was like, really? You don't even want her to look at the video? No, she got 30 days to look at that. There's 30-day money back guarantee. I was in my mind, and that's how I called her. I said, do you think that it's okay? And the lady signed up. She was like, cool. The lady, like so we had a conversation after the Zoom where I was giving my critique of that particular three-way. I was giving her my feedback, but that means that you can't coach a parked car, y'all. The car has to be in motion. Somebody has to dribble the ball for you to coach them. So a lot of times we're coaching and teaching people that are not in motion because we are trying to coach them into motion. And you can't coach somebody into motion. You can only coach someone in motion. Does that make sense to everyone? That's because full time is about who's doing it wrong. And you want them to mess it up. A lot of you are talented, especially directors. You guys are already talented, but you're not running with the runners because you say nobody's running with me. Then don't settle. We said that. Just go find somebody that wants to run at the pace you want to run. And I remember when Coach Kiana did hit my organization, Danielle, and I was at that time 5-star director, but I wasn't $500,000. And I went on tour. I asked my team, who will host me in your city? And I went city to city, and I asked, who will do travel parties? I went house to house, living room to living room, looking for talent. I was looking, when I went to Ohio to help my team many years ago, Cindy was not on my team. She was in the room. She showed up at a meeting in Ohio. I was already there. So Kiana was at the meeting in Kansas City. She was not on my team. How many times are we not showing up because we get mentally mad, exhausted, lazy, whatever? We're not in the room where the talent could be. We're not in the living rooms where the talent could be. We're not online where many of the talent could be. We're not in settings paying attention. We think that all we have is what's in front of us. And I want somebody to put in the chat, there's so much more out there. There's so much more. There's so much more out there. There's so much more. There's so many more people. And that's why I love what I do, because every day there's new people to talk to. Every day there's new people who raise their hand. I want it. I have 2 new girls in Houston that are freaking rock stars, Nail Armor and Montre. Both of them hit Fireball for a convention. They're only about 3 or 4 months in the business. They both hit Fireball. George and friend Sheila Slaughter, they're in California. They hit Fireball on my team. Like, they're new blood. They're not directors yet, but they're fired up. And how many of you know that my attention goes to those people, right, Jamie? And I go, okay, they're ready. Now, what about the people that are not putting up the points? You may ask that. Well, what about the people that are not scoring? They're in their learning season. There is a learning season. Write in your notes, learning season. They're in their learning season. Now, I have a question for you. If somebody is on JV, varsity basketball, are they ready for the NWA? Is that what it's called, NBA? I'm talking about MWA. You guys let me say it. The NBA. That is so funny. Right? I was WNBA. Thank you, you guys. I'm thinking of a rap group. Okay. So are they ready for the NBA if they're in high school varsity? No. They're going to get slaughtered. They're going to get killed in the NBA. But does that not mean that they're not superstars in the making? They are. They're just not there yet. So some of your team are superstars in the making, Kristen, right? They're superstars in the making. And what we have to do is let them cook. Put that in your notes. Put it in the chat. Let them cook. Let them cook. Let them bake. Let them learn. Let them cook, Shantavia. Let them cook. We're trying to take the cake out prematurely, Gina. We're trying to take the cake out too soon. Let them cook. That means that let them learn. Right now, there's so many of you that I'm looking at, and guess what? You're cooking, you're baking, and you're going to get there, but you're not ready for director yet. You're not ready for 2. If you were ready for 2-star, you'd be 2-star. If you're ready for 3, you'd be 3. If you were ready for it, you'd be there because you'd already know it. So keep learning and you will get there. How many of you know you will win, W-I-N, but you don't know when, W-H-E-N? But how many of you know, give me some hearts if you know you're going to win. You know it. I sit back, I don't have my $1 million pillar. How many of you know it pisses me off, but I'm still determined? And I know I'm sitting back like that lioness. And I'm like, it's going to happen. I got to calm what? My emotions. I got to calm my spirit, right? I got to focus. I got to be okay in my mind. How many of you know the biggest battle is not your downline, your upline, your sideline prospects? The biggest battle every day is calming this down so that you can keep going and you can vibrate the right vibrations. Your mind, yeah. That's the biggest battle every day you'll fight, is the 6 inches between your ears. That's the biggest battle. The biggest battle is your mindset. And what can you do to keep that right? And so every day, how many of you know every day you have to wake up energized? How many of you today are energized? How many of you today feel positive? Do you feel like today's a new day? Some of you have to just say, I don't have a team, and smile. I don't have a team, because then that'll make you feel like what? You got to get a team. And that makes you feel like, just remember the day you started, you were fired up about going gold. All you wanted to do was go gold. And guess what? You did it. Just wake up and in your mind, I'm going to redo it. I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to reset. And you got to find a renewed spirit. And every day you can make a decision to start over or start again or bring on a new crew. The people that are on your team will be okay. Let them what? Thank you. Cook. Let them cook and leave them alone. And some people will come to the table more done than others because just they may have leadership skills or influence. It's, it just is what it is. But you got to keep moving with a positive mindset every day. How many of you know your energy matters? How many of you know your energy does matter? In my office, I have this. And what it says is, please be mindful of the energy you bring in this space. This is my space where I make money. This is my space in here. This is where I make my money. So I have to be mindful. So this is first, I read this for me, Robin, first. And then I read it. And secondly, anybody coming in here, don't come in here with no mess. Because this is where I make my money. So you better be careful. How many of you are mindful of the phone calls you're on and their energy? Or who's around you and their energy? And how many of you have negative Neds or negative Nancys on your team, or maybe even in your family, that you need to separate a little bit from, because they may be draining you or bringing you down? Okay, so this is what I look at for myself first daily. JP, be cognizant. Please be mindful of your energy, JP. Then who else is around me that needs to be cognizant and mindful of their energy? Okay, that's how you go full time. You protect your energy, because you got to come out the gate swinging. Why? The bubbles are rolling. And you got to keep up with the pack. Director Sadell, I think that was some stuff today, girl. I feel like the people, did y'all eat today? Did y'all get fed on this amazing? We're done. We got it. Everybody got it. Did you guys eat today?
Absolutely, right. Coach. We have to create leaders. That's my takeaway.
That's some good stuff. We've got to create